If you're 1099 and you've been told buying real estate is complicated, slow, or impossible, this video is for you. Most independent contractors you see don't get denied because they don't make enough money. They get denied because they're not being evaluated with rules that were never built for them. Traditionally speaking, a lot of tight guidelines prevent 1099 self-employed folks from buying a home, buying real estate, building generational wealth. But here's the truth. If you're paid on a commission or contracted work and you work as an independent contractor, earn 1099 income, there is a loan program specifically designed for how you get paid, okay? And it's one of the easiest ways to buy real estate when you understand it. The problem is almost no one explains it correctly. A lot of traditional banks, a lot of credit unions, people that have your typical conventional FHA, VA, USDA loans don't really have access to these or aren't proficient in these and don't have the background to truly advise people that are self-employed, or perhaps you out there that are 1099 and are an independent contractor. I'm self-employed myself, so I know for a fact you guys are working your butts off to be able to improve your income, build your business. And the problem is a lot of these non-traditional loan programs are explained correctly to people like you. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how 1099 loans work, who qualifies, how income is calculated, and why this option is often better than a traditional mortgage for self-employed folks out there and commission-based earners. Okay, so if you've been told you need perfect tax returns, W-2s, or 2 years of showing massive income on paper, not to mention if you're 1099, you gotta take out Social Security, Medicare, everything like that with regards to what we have to pay back, then stay with me, because that's not always true. You don't have to claim massive income on paper, and I'm gonna break that down in this video today. Who this loan qualifies for, all right? So 100% commission earners. If you work as an independent contractor, perhaps you receive 1099s from one or multiple companies, or you just get paid directly through your own entity. So I actually recently helped a roofer out that gets paid to his LLC, but he's a 1099 contractor, sales consultant for a roofing company, where he owns 100% of the LLC, the entity, and his 1099s get paid directly to that business. So we can actually use the 1099 income to qualify him for a home loan. He claimed $30,000 on tax returns, and homes that he's looking at are upwards of $500,000 to $650,000, and that tax return income, traditionally speaking, will not work. So we had to get creative, and this is kind of where 1099 loans can come into play for you. Not to mention, we can use that 1099 income, whether we average it over 12 to 24 months, the most recent 1099 amount, if you've been in business for a certain amount of time, but we can actually use a 10% expense factor against that gross 1099 income. So that means pretty much 90% of that 1099 NEC income, where you get paperwork for at the end of the year or the start of the year, that's kind of what's left for qualifying income after writing off all business expenses that we utilize in terms of qualifying income for real estate and utilizing this type of 1099 mortgage loan, this non-traditional product. So this is why 1099 loans are so powerful. You're not punished for legitimate write-offs that actually help you run your business efficiently, with you actually being smart and leveraging the tax code to write off as much income as you possibly can, keeping more income in your pocket and not Uncle Sam's. So making this work, all right? Making this work. In terms of documentation history, you'll need 2 years for 1099. We can sometimes get away with 1 year if perhaps you were W-2'd in the same line of work and then went 1099. We can typically use an average of that, or strictly just use your most recent 1099, okay? So if you have less than 1 year, that typically isn't enough for qualifying income unless you were legitimately W-2'd and can be able to show documentation that you're in the same line of work and you have the same type of business and you're bringing in similar income from when you were W-2'd and now on your own. But typically they do want a full year of that 1099 income and paperwork to be able to utilize this, but there are exceptions. Income verification, we typically look at, check stubs with year-to-date totals, typically through 3 months of bank statements or year-to-date earning statements, that sometimes, independent contractors are able to get depending on the work they have. But the deposits do have to support at least 80% of your qualifying income to show consistency. Okay, so there has to be a good story, a good overall picture that your income is stable and consistent. Entity and ownership. All right, so if you're using an entity, you must own 100%, and the 1099 must be issued correctly, directly to that entity. All right, so a lot of mistakes people make is within the paperwork. It's not really the money they're making or the income that's the issue. A lot of things that kill the 1099 deals is that paperwork, not making sure that they're getting paid directly to that entity. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind when you are looking to utilize a loan like this. And then final documentation, typically IRS transcripts are required. Not all investors require it, but at least variable and seasonal income is allowed with compensating factors. So keep that in mind, because I personally have a fresh produce business, and as long as you have other compensating factors like good credit, a larger down payment, debt to income ratio isn't as high, you can utilize that type of income as well. Okay, so typically up to 25% income increases when it properly is supported and explained is ideal. And if you're 1099, buying real estate doesn't have to be complicated. You just need a loan that understands how you actually get paid. So this loan is flexible, but still has rules, and honesty and consistency matters always. But that's it for that. So typically we use 12 to 24 months. We use a 10% expense factor ratio. And overall, this is an amazing loan program for all of you folks that are self-employed out there. This can be handy persons, contractors, plumbers, electricians, landscapers, rideshare delivery drivers, freelancers, gig economy workers, life coaches, recruiters, sales reps, VAs, bookkeepers, accountants, editors, graphic designers, real estate agents. All of you out there deserve to buy real estate. It's getting harder and harder in the world to buy real estate, and to creatively have a loan solution for you. This is doable. This is out there for you. I would be honored to help you. My Calendly link is in the description of the video, along with feel free to reach out to me via Instagram and DM me. I'd be honored to look at your situation, set you up to make this happen for you down the road, while keeping as much money in your pocket as possible. I feel paying Uncle Sam all that money is really not ideal. I think a lot of money goes into the government's hand just to be able to traditionally qualify, or be told that you have to wait and claim all this money on on tax returns. So it's a non-traditional program to keep in mind. So if you are 1099, buying real estate doesn't have to be complicated. You just need a loan that understands how you actually get paid. So comment 1099 if this sounds like you. Subscribe for more content built for self-employed buyers like yourself. Thank you for watching.